Are we live now? Somebody give me a comment. If you can hear me, you should be able to hear me, I hope. Is there anybody here? Oh, there's a delay too. Let me wait until somebody's here. Heck, there might not be anybody here. Comments. 0 people here. Oh, there's a thumbs up. Cool. We got 1 thumbs up. Still says I got 0 eyeballs in here. Oh, there we go. Sorry I'm late. I had technical difficulties. Soul Man had a hard time getting things going the right way. All right. Mark Smith, Country Blues. John Wishon, did I pronounce that right? Lone Wolf, Justin Motor, Tierra Trails, Foo 7. What's up? Spirit Wolf, Pork and Beans, I like that. Richard Mack, Mark Wright, Ronnie Boyer. All right, guys. First place, the camera that I usually use, I couldn't get it to work. So now I had to use my iPhone, so I had to figure out how to connect it to this program. Shanty Shitter. There you go. That's a different name. 1976 Chevy K10 restoration. Justin Motor. Shane Smith. Hey, from Tennessee. Appreciate it. Ricky Brock. All right. Wait until we get a few more people in here. Had a hard time, so I had to get my iPhone hooked up. And then with this stupid program I use, it's called Ecamm, I couldn't get it to go live. So I had to go back into my studio where I'd scheduled it. And I get sidetracked. And had to make it go public right away. So now it's all working. Can everybody hear me okay? Does it sound good? Give me a thumbs up if it sounds good. If it's too low or too high or anything. Okay, first question I got right here. I got to answer this question. Pork and Beans. I have the first question ever. I think it's if I've ever saw Bigfoot. I've never saw Bigfoot. Never saw him, never saw any signs of him or anything. But if there was a Bigfoot, I think that he's way up in the North Country in that big tall timber where he could stay hidden out. And I have a hard time. There's so many cameras out. You know, what do you call them? Trail cameras out. I would think somebody should have a good picture of him by now. I don't know. Can't say for sure. Hi from Texas. Charles, Texas. Kenny, likes are free. Likes are free. Pork and Beans. Joey Bauer. You can hear me. Sounds great. Perfect. I got to wear these headphones because this is my mic. So, and it makes it sound better. I just look funny with them. Sounds good, Mr. Rathu. MREs, Kenny MRE. Sounds good on my end. Arizona here. We hear you fine. Hello from Tennessee. Paul Brumley. All right, cool. All right. Let me get this out of the way to start with. So, I've had a lot of complaints. We've been putting out the what do you call them? The compilation videos. And I say a lot of complaints. We've been getting some complaints saying, well, these are videos that we've seen before. So we just had the idea that we would, for the people who hadn't seen them before, and then for new viewers, to put these compilation videos out and put them out for people to see them. People who had never seen the videos before. And then there's a certain group of people that like to watch longer videos. New viewers like to watch longer videos. And I figured the people who had seen them before would watch them for a little while. And then we got what we call analytics. And you can see that a lot of people click on them, watch a little bit of them, and get off of them. So that's all right. And one of the reasons we've done that is because, let me see if I can get through this okay. this summer's been really, really tough on me. It's been a terrible summer. At the beginning of the summer, I had that AFib stuff going on with my heart. They put me in the hospital. They got that fixed. I don't have any problems with that. And then over the last, it's probably been the last few years, I've had these what we call episodes. And I tried to share, and I think I shared some of it on a members only post. If you want, we've got a members thing on YouTube and then on Patreon. I don't advertise it. It's just a way you can help out the channel if you join it. And I don't do a lot on there. Every now and then I'll make a post or I'll make a video that's I just post to that, but I don't do it very often. And but I appreciate the support. It helps us out. But anyway, I've had these episodes, and now let me explain. Let me say something. My father's 91 or 92 years old. My mom's 90 years old, and I know my dad's brother watches these, and I don't need my mom and dad to know about this because I don't need them to worry about me. I mean, they just don't need, because we got it fixed now. I think for the most part we have it fixed. What's happened, and this has been going on for a few years. I remember years ago I was driving to what we called Cowboy Church on a Wednesday night, and I ended up on a ditch bank out here, and I didn't even know how I got there, and I didn't think nothing of it. It was just one of those things. And then over the years, things would happen, and it's like I would just blank out for a little while, and I wouldn't think of it. Well, this last year it started getting worse, and I started having what we called episodes. It would be an episode, and I would have like an aura. I would know something was going to happen. It would be like an aura, and then whatever happened. I don't remember it happening. I don't remember what happened, but my wife was there and she would see it. And I would just like blank out for about 30 seconds, maybe a minute, not very long. And it's not like I would fall down or anything. I just kind of blank out, just stare off into space. And sometimes I'd twitch my finger or something like that, or might smack my lips some. That's what she tells me. I don't remember this. I don't. And of course, got worried and everything, and then I would have, when I would have these, I might have a day where I might have 3 or 4 of them, and then for the next 2 or 3 days I would feel like crap. I mean, I didn't feel like doing nothing, and it's embarrassing to say, I would just sit in my chair, and I might get in the buggy and take the dogs out and exercise them for a couple hours and then just come back and sit in my chair the rest of the day. I didn't feel like doing anything. So my wife took me to a neurologist, and they signed me up for this deal. I went down to, if you look at my thumbnail and you see me with all those things strapped to my head, I went down for a study. First, I went down for an overnight study. I had to stay in this little bitty room with all that crap attached to my head. They did that, and they didn't find nothing. And then I had to go down for a 5-day, 4-night study, and I had to stay in that little bitty room for 4 nights. And they did find where they had these little spikes. I never had a full-blown episode, what we call it. Man, Philip Fontaine hit the nose on the head, and it's something I have to explain something. I was raised with a sister that had an older sister that had full-blown epilepsy. She never could drive. She never could get her driver's license, and they never, through medication or anything, they never could get it totally controlled. And finally, and she was, I think she was 6 years older than me, and she's passed on now. And they finally had to put her in, institutionalize her. She raised kids. She had two two kids, and she got them raised and everything, and she lived on her own until she was older. But it was something I was raised with. I knew about it. I mean, I seen it happen. I mean, she'd have what they call those, I think, grand mal seizures, and she would just fall down and shake, and it was scary. It was terrible. And I was raised with that, seeing that. So when this started happening, it scared me. It bothered me. And but I never had anything that bad. I would just have these, and sure enough, and I hate the word. I hate it. I hate to say it, and I have a hard time saying it. But they did. They diagnosed me with epilepsy. There you go. I said it. And so they gave me some of these pills to take, and you take these pills, and you start out with. I started out with one, and then you go 2 weeks. And I took the one, and it wasn't too bad. And I take one every night, and then after 2 weeks, you take two. Well, one didn't bother me that bad, but then after about a week and a half, I had a couple more episodes on a Saturday, I think it was. Anyway, then I ramped up to two. Well, when I took two, I mean, after I took two the next day, I never felt like that in my life. I mean, I just sat in a chair, and it just felt like it wasn't worth going on. I mean, and of course my wife, she worried about me and everything, and we looked up what the side effects were with it, and the side effects is depression. And I'd never had depression in my life. Heck, I ride a mule, and I got hounds. I mean, you don't get depressed when you got mules and hounds. And but I did then. I mean, I felt that, sure enough. And so that went on for a while, and I got to feeling a little bit better, but still didn't really feel like doing anything. I got some videos that I went out thinking I was just going to get on my mule and take off. And I went out there, and I took Bonnie out, and I just hobbled her out in some grass, and I sat in the chair and drank coffee, and I didn't do anything. And I never even saddled her up and rode off. I just let her graze. And so finally, after my wife got to worrying about it, because one of the things besides the depression is suicidal thoughts, and it never got that bad with me. And so the minute she called the doctor, they gave me another pill to take, and that pill's a lot better. And changed it right away. So that's kind of the explanation for the scarcity of the videos, and the lack of consistency, and then also the compilation videos we've been putting out. So but now I feel good. I still got to get through this medicine a little bit. I'm not full. They say it takes like 6 weeks or so, and I've been on it for about 3 to 4 weeks. So it takes like 6 weeks to get fully accustomed to it, I guess. So let's see. Robert Norris says, my granddaughter was diagnosed with epilepsy. She turned 18 in May. Heck of a deal for a teenager. Yeah, I watched my sister go through it, Robert. And like I said, I was raised with her. And this is years ago. I'm 63 years old. And it was scary. It was tough watching her. I don't have it that bad. I can still drive, and it never bothered me that bad, but just it scared my wife, just those little blanking out times. And then it also affected my memory. I would forget, I forget my short-term memory. I would forget certain things, and that kind of bothers you a little bit, I couldn't. There's one video I made. Matter of fact, if you guys ever watch it, I can't even remember which one it was, where I kind of act kind of stupid on it, but I was having episodes during that video. So yeah, cool. So let me see if I can pull this up here, and I'll get to some questions off of the channel, and I'll try to answer some of these questions. And but like I said, I feel good now. I haven't had any episodes or anything, and I think they've got it under control. So yeah, everything should be pretty good. So you can bring up comments And then I think you can filter them for questions. That's another thing on the on the comments in my videos. I try to get to every single one. I read almost all of them. I try to answer most of them, but sometimes I miss them, and I'm really sorry. Your comments mean a lot to me, so I try to get to as many as I can. And I don't like to answer questions with just a generic answer or a heart or something. I like to answer them and be particular about it. Thanks, Tim Neal, Ronnie Byer. Thanks for the prayers. I do appreciate the prayers. I believe in prayer. Tim Neal, believer girl, praying for you. Thank you very much. Okay, let's try to get to some of these. I'll try to answer some of these questions while we got time. Sort by most relevant, newest, published. Oh, how can I do this? Published. Contains a question. There you go. How many okay, this is from a member for 4 months. Michael Galvan. How many months do you get out of a pair of iron shoes on my mules? Usually I have them reshod about every 4 to 6 weeks, something like that. And it depends on the country I'm riding in. If I'm putting on a lot of miles and riding in the rocks, you can wear them really, really thin. But usually I get quite a bit out of them. I don't put, a lot of people put, borium. You can put borium on the shoes, and they last a lot longer, and then it gives them better grip in the rocks and slick rock and everything. Okay, hi there. Stopped off in Lincoln, so we'll be there again. Maybe you could take this city boy out on a ride and live stream the heck out of it. Okay, Joseph, holler at me if you're ever in town, or I don't live in town, but out here where I'm at. How often do you find snakes, and do you snake break your dogs or what? I run into snakes often. Bull snakes, garter snakes, any other kind of snake that doesn't have a rattle on it gets a pass. I just admire them and let them go. Rattlesnakes I kill. I won't put up with them. I break my dogs off of snakes when I have the opportunity. All my dogs wear tracking collars, or most all my dogs wear tracking collars. And within those tracking collars, there's a shocking system where you can shock them. And it has different levels of stimulation. You can tone them, and then you can dial it up to where you really shock them. So if they start paying too much attention to the snake and they get close to it, I will shock them. So they start associating that shock with the snake, and they learn to stay away from them. But most of my dogs have been bit by rattlesnakes. They swell up, and I've only lost one dog to a rattlesnake bite. That was Sissy. She got bit in the leg. Most all dogs get bit in the face, and they don't have a lot of blood in their face, so it doesn't make them that sick. They swell up and look like a pig for a while. And they give them 3 cc's of dexamethasone, 3 cc's under the skin, 3 cc's in the muscle, and then 3 cc's under the skin for the next 3 days. And I've had most all my dogs bit, so I don't worry about it a whole lot. But if there's a rattlesnake and they start paying too much attention to it, I do pop them and shock them and teach them to stay away from it. Let's see. Does that mean hot? Oh, no, I'm not going to go there. 4510. What is that in the sky? I'm still deep down in the UFO rabbit hole. It's getting pretty bad when I start noticing things in other people's videos. Hope you're having a great week, Brett. It's finally cooled off here in Tennessee. Don't get me started on UFOs. I go into that between Joe Rogan podcast and then if you get a chance, listen to that last Tucker Carlson, where he's talking to the guy from congressman, and he's talking about, that guy says what he knows about. Oh, it's interesting. I get into the UFO stuff, and I ride out there in the middle of nowhere, hoping one of these days I'll catch one on camera. Didn't I see the episode several weeks back? See, that's one of those kind of complaints. Yeah, you probably did. It's a compilation of videos I put out before. How many hands tall is Bonnie? She's just a tad under 15 hands. She's a little bit too tall. I like Clyde's height a little bit better. He's probably, 14'2", 14'3", something like that. And Jet Johnson was the perfect height, about 14'2", 14'3", easier to get on. Maybe worth trying to go back for. How close are you to your site? That was on a short that we made, so I don't know what he's referencing. Hello, Colas, are you watching? I don't know who that is. Hey, Brett, thanks for the adventure. Have you ever had one of your mules trip and fall over? Seems like it could happen in really bad spots. I've had Agnes fell with me, but she just fell down to her knees. And most of the times when a mule falls, that's what they do. They just fall down. They don't, where a horse will struggle and fight, and that's a good thing about riding the mules. They won't hardly struggle and fight to stay up. If it gets bad enough, they'll just fall down, and a horse will kill you trying to keep from falling down, where a mule won't hardly do that. At least the mules I've been around won't. They're usually pretty slow and deliberate, and take care of themselves. And as long as you're on their back, you're pretty safe. Okay, you sound like me getting up. Can I ask what is the beef tallow for? Oh, I use beef tallow to cook with. I use beef tallow in a pan to fry up my meat. The grease, the mess, everything, slide work easier. Yeah. Do you skin them out? They're really easy to tan. Yeah, my grandson has skinned out quite a few of the rattlesnakes and made hat bands out of them. Sounds like your episode is a transient. This is what the truck man. I'm getting sidetracked. The transient seismic attack. I don't know what is it. They just said it was what did they call it? They called it a focal seizure. Focal seizure. Do you skin? I've been watching this YouTube channel a long time. My wife asks me every day, did he come out with a new video? This is cool content. Thank you very much. I got a question for you. That land you go out on, I guess it's federal land, yes, and you camp a lot. Let's say a guy retires and only has his Social Security. Do you think it would be possible to live out there camping like you do if all you had was your check every month, and let's say it's like $1,800 a month? Watching you just got me thinking, yes, you can. There's people who do that. Matter of fact, there's people who make YouTube videos who do that. The rule is you got to move, I think it's every 2 weeks. You have to move so many feet or so many miles. And yeah, I mean, you can do it. And we have lots of federal land, lots of public land, and they call them nomadics. And there's YouTube videos about people who do that. It kind of fascinates me because, I mean, that really is freedom. Todd Gross, anyways, hit the button too soon. There's a different types of honey that I think might help you with what you're facing. You need to research. I will, Todd. Thank you. All right, Brett, do you have an email where the likes of me could send you a link? Yes, guys, if you're not in the description of the videos, there's a link to get on my email list. And that email, we send out an email every Friday. We don't spam you with email. It just is an email that goes out every Friday, and it has kind of what I've been doing, whatever, kind of a little blurb about that, not a whole lot. And then it has I don't really have sponsors except for Onyx Map. Onyx Map sponsors me. Olight, they don't really sponsor me, but what they do is they've sent me some free flashlights and a headlamp, and then they gave me that code, and you can use that code. You have to look at one of my videos. I can't even remember what it is, but you get like 20% off on an Olight. And then who else sponsors me with a code? I think it's Onyx. Onyx is good to me, and I love Onyx. I use Onyx every time I go out. I use my Onyx maps. And the way I use Onyx is I get here on my computer that I'm on now. I pull up the Onyx app, and you can look at the land. It'll tell you if it's BLM, state lease, if it's private. It'll show you where springs are, and the canyons, any trails, any 2-track roads. Shows you everything, so you can kind of plan out your trip and where you're going to go, and then you can take that route and mark out your route, build your route, see how far it is, and then you can save that, and it goes to your phone, and then when you're out, you can look and see, make sure you're in the right place. It's handy. I would never, the one rule I have is I will not, Fire Maple, Steve Vick, that's right. Fire Maple, hell, they sent me free stuff, and I have that code for Fire Maple. And fire maple is like I used jet boils for a while, but fire maple sent me some free stuff, and I use fire maple. It works just as good, and I like it. They give me that little cook kit. It's got everything in it you need. Anyway, onyx, Olite, fire maple, and Ellis canvas tents. Ellis sent me that bedroll I use, and it's a canvas bedroll, cowboy bedroll, rolls up. It's got a mattress in it, and it works like a little tent. It's got a little raised place over your head so you can zip it up in case you're in bad weather. But also, I talked to him. I sent him an email. I always used a snow tracker tent and a canvas tent, but and it was a nice tent, and they didn't sponsor me or anything like that. And the snow tracker tent had fiberglass poles, real lightweight, pretty nice tent. Had a place for a wood burning stove in it and a little jack or a little stove hole in it for the stove, for the, what do you call it, stove jack? Is that what you call it? Anyway, but they didn't sponsor me or anything. But I looked on, Ellis sent me that bedroll, so I looked on their website, and they make this teepee tent that looks really, really cool. So I just sent them an email and told them that I was looking for a new tent and something lightweight that I can carry on a pack mule. Because, man, there's a lot of places I want to go this winter, a lot of things I want to see. And I think they're going to send me one. So if they send me one, I'll share it with you. And it looked really cool. It looked really easy to set up. Was pretty roomy. Had a teepee, is made like a teepee, and has a place for your stove and everything. Perfect for one guy with a pack mule. So we'll see if they send it to me. But I liked my bedroll, and I don't have a code or anything with them, but I do recommend them. They make good stuff. What else? Where was I? Howdy. What kind of whiskey? Bourbon. Bless you. Thank you. That little flask I carry had Buffalo Trace whiskey in it. I take 2 or 3 shots when I'm out by the campfire. It's the only time I drink. I don't drink anywhere else. And that, like I say, that makes the ground softer. Down and Out Nashville says, my dog has epilepsy and it terrifies me. I can't even imagine seeing a person go through that. We're pulling for you, but thank you. I don't have the shaking, falling down stuff. I just kind of blank. I just kind of fade out and not very long, about 30 seconds. The worst thing is how it makes me feel afterwards. I feel like crap. I don't feel like doing anything. Anyway, okay, that's with Buffalo Trace. But I'm not particular. I don't know much about whiskey or anything like that. I take a couple shots of that, and it helps me sleep better, keeps me warm, and like I said, it makes the ground softer. But I sure enjoy your videos. I still have a bunch of them to watch before I'm caught up. I was going to ask you, I believe my cousins, either Quail Brooks or Taylor, was telling me about you from Las Vegas. Do you know them? Name sounds familiar. I can't place them right now. How long have you had Bonnie? We are trying to figure that out, and we are thinking at least a year ago now. I think I've had her for 2.5 years. Does that sound about right? I think so. There's that memory thing again. So gorgeous there. Weather looks nice too. What is the temperature? During the summer, it gets hot. We have weeks that we're over 100 degrees. And then it's just now getting where it's nice outside. Like today, I think the high was only around 72 degrees. And I think, but it rained pretty hard yesterday, and it's overcast today. I think this week it'll probably get up to 80 something. And then from here on out, the weather will be nice. So I hope my head stays good and everything will be all right. And I'll be able to go to some places and film it so you guys can go see them too. Hi, Brett from Washington State. Hope you feel better soon. Thank you, Cora. I appreciate that. Methylene, Life Outdoors. Methylene Blue works for some with epileptic episodes. Clyde, Pamela Wooten. Clyde is a gorgeous mule. Clyde's a neat mule, Pamela. He was good in that rough country up there. I mean, he really paid attention and everything. He's not like I said in the video, he's not a pet. He doesn't care about you rubbing on him or anything. He's a little standoffish when you go to catch him in the pen. He kind of watches you, but he doesn't run from you. But you can tell he's all business. I mean, he's a business mule. Methylene blue supposedly good for Desert Dan Blacksmith. Glad to see you back. Blah blah. Brett, the rains have been good. Yeah, making old man noises with you. Yeah, those old man noises come. We shall persevere. Yes. What did you use before Onyx? What did you use before Onyx maps? I didn't use nothing. Just I had some. I used to get those quadrangle maps from the state, and I'd pin them up. I still have. No, they're not in here. They're in my other office. I used to pin them up on the wall, and just pick my way out through them. And then also, like if I went to the wilderness or the Gila Wilderness or wherever, I've got the matter of fact in the house. I still have those maps pinned up on the wall. The Gila Wilderness map, and then some of the BLM lap maps. Jeffrey Lou, hey Brett, brother, I blinked out and fell on my toilet, mess up my ribs. Jeez, I know what you're talking about. Hey, I watch, friend. I haven't ever fallen down. The worst thing I've done is like, and then my memory, like I forgot my grandkids' names for like a couple hours one day. I couldn't remember their names, and that made me feel terrible. Howdy, Brett from Santana, Arizona. Howdy. Really glad to see you back in. Thank you. Brett, did you watch the latest Desert Drifter video? Oh man, I didn't. I should. When his wife made that little deal, that's the saddest thing in the world is to find that guy made such good videos, and he went to such interesting places, and to think that he was killed in a car accident. So I haven't. I've been sad enough here lately. I didn't want to watch anything else that made me sad. So I'm trying. That's making me sad right now. Methylene blue. I really hope you get to feel. I'm gonna look that up. I'm gonna see if I can get some of that, Conrad. Thank you. I'm up. Try anything really. Let me go through a few more of these questions here. So you've been sick recently. I noticed some content was rehashed, yeah. And at first I was a little annoyed, but then remembered you've been having some problems. Well, thank you. Wish you well. You deserve a bunch more years of enjoying, taking it easy, and doing what you love. Thank you. Life of Sitting Bull and the History of the Indian Wars, painted a year after his murder. I will give you this book. Oh, thank you. That's not a quite. What device are you using that keeps beeping on your videos? Okay. When the last video I made where I got out and I went up, and they had the van that was stuck and abandoned in the arroyo, and I was riding Clyde, and then the other Jeep that they abandoned up there on the side of the mountain, and in the video you can hear my phone keep beeping. My wife really didn't want me to go on that trip, and I had cell phone service where I went, so she kept texting me to check on me to make sure I was okay. So you know how your phone beeps beep 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 when you get a text message. So she kept texting me to make sure I was okay. And when I go where I don't have cell phone service, I don't have it with me. I carry a Garmin Messenger. You usually see it. You'll see it clipped onto my suspender, and it goes in my front pocket, and it works off the satellite. And it has an SOS button on it, and then it has just a regular text message where you can text directly off of it, or it hooks up to your phone with an app, and you can text through that app through the satellite and to my wife's phone, and she gets the text, and it has a 28-day battery life, so it's really cool. So I carry it with me every time I go out. But if I have phone service, I just use it. And a lot of the desert around here that I go into, unless I'm in the canyons, I have phone service if you're up on top. So when I get up in the wilderness, up in the high mountains, they usually don't have cell phone service. Okay, thanks for the content. What state is this? New Mexico. Sir, do you ever come across grave sites? Yes, I do. I have. I need to go back up to Massacre Canyon. Matter of fact, that was one of the Ashley Durant, you should listen to her more. Oh, that's my niece right there. Hi, Ashley. How are you? Now you got me flustered. I thought it was your Garmin dog tractor that beeped. Well, they beep too. The Garmin tracker beeps. But yeah, Massacre Canyon. There's two places. There's Massacre Peak, Massacre Canyon. Matter of fact, there's several Massacre Canyons or Massacre Peaks, and there's graves in there from where the Indians killed soldiers. And I want to go to both those places and show those. But I want to, when I go through Massacre Canyon, I want to pack across it. I want to take a pack mule and I want to go camp and stay, go all the way through it and go to the other side. Matter of fact, it's on the Butterfield Trail. And I still plan that, but I got to get to feeling better before that's going to be like a 7-day trip. And I got to feel pretty good to do that. And what else was I going to say? Ashley made me lose my train of thought there. Garmin InReach is the best. Well, that's basically what the InReach Lives Outdoors. The InReach, it's Garmin Messenger. It works the same as the InReach, except it's just a little square like that. So, and it's got the 28-day battery life, which I like. Okay, we're going out alone in southern New Mexico for 45 years, but I've only gone alone once. That's off to you. Going alone's really never bothered me. I don't know why. It doesn't bother me. I sent you 5 or 6 emails. I really wanted to meet you. You replied to 2 of them. I am just wondering if that was during this time. It might have been. Like I said, this summer's been not very good for me. I haven't been able to keep up with a lot of stuff. Send me another one, and like I said, I'm doing better now. Did you ever meet Marshall Trimble out of Arizona? He was a storyteller and a history buff on the Southwest. Keep well. I haven't. Robert Schuler, not that I can remember anyway. Okay. Let's see. What do they farm in the desert? A lot of guys don't realize, but this is a really big farming area because we have the Rio Grande River that runs through here. So they got the dams. They got the dams up north. They got Caballo and Elephant Butte, which holds up the water, and then they release them, and they have the irrigation district. So they've got chili, onions, cotton, lettuce, pecan trees. Big, good farmers in this area. And farmers who, not the kind of farmers I was raised up with. These farmers, they're wealthy and good farmers. Car Ranch, my husband's from Reserve, currently living in Washington. He sure enjoys watching you ride around the country he grew up in. His dad has been missing in the Gila for 16 years. That's amazing. Cora, ask your husband if he remembers Sam's Pastime or Uncle Bill's. And when you ask him, tell him that at one time, years ago, in my wild days, I spent a lot of time you'd start out in Uncle Bill's, and then when you got too wild, you walked across the street to Sam's Pastime. That was a long time ago in a former life. The guy from Arizona. New Mexico is famous for their peppers. Yeah, green chili. Hatch, chili capital of the world. That's outdoor car. I live north of Luna by Reserve. So, Lives Outdoors, do you know anything about Uncle Bill's or Sam's Pastime? What kind of rifle do you carry? I carry an old Winchester Model 94 30-30 that my dad bought for me when I was about 11 or 12 years old. I love chili too, Pamela. Shanty shitter, I have a hard time. Last time I saw those lakes, they were going dry. Yeah, the last few years have been really dry. Man, this fall, we've had a lot of rain. Praying for a speedy recovery. Always enjoy videos. Thank you. Thank you. What else do we got? Let me go through a few more of these questions here. Is that alfalfa you're feeding him? Yeah, I feed a third or fourth cut out, what we call third or fourth cut alfalfa to my mules. It's not like first cut or last cut or second cut. That's usually a little too hot, I think. When I say hot, it's real rich. I don't like to feed them that rich alfalfa. Third or fourth cut is not as rich, and I think it's better for them. I'd love to be able to feed a little bit of grass hay, but we don't have any grass hay really to speak of around here. I live in the nope, sorry, Brett. They might have been closed down time or maybe because this was years ago when I was up there. This was the early '90s when I was in reserve, and yeah, it was pretty wild times, let me tell you. Where the wife? The wife's over in the house. She never will let me put her on camera. I try to get her to film her. I'd like to film her lecturing me before I go out because she's real good. She always makes sure I have everything I need, and yeah, he does remember. Well, maybe he could tell some stories about that too, I bet. But yeah, no, but she won't let me film her. So, just the way it is. Ashley Trent, come visit Minnesota, bring Andale salsa. Well, we might do that. I would love to see Minnesota sometime, Ashley, but it's sure cold up there. What is the brand of your hat? It's Sunbody Hats. If you go on Amazon, and I should have a link to my Amazon store on my page, in the description. I don't know if I do or not. I should have. But I have that hat, and it's a Sunbody hat. It's the Gus, and it's got the biggest brim on it. I'm what you call pigment impaired. I get sunburned really, really easy. So I have to wear a great big old hat. And that's why I wear that hat, to keep the sun off of me, to keep from getting so sunburned. Matter of fact, I have a dermatologist appointment on Tuesday I have to go to. My name is Gus, and I too was born 100 years too late, and I camp alone here in the North Carolina. Oh, cool. I really appreciate your content, and I appreciate you dragging us along. Perfect. Thank you. Thanks for coming along. Keep up the good work. Miss the smell of roasting chilies. Oh, man, that is a good smell. Are you going to have a Fat Lori coffee mug? There is a Fat Lori coffee mug on Spreadshop. Now, there should be a link in my description to Spreadshop, and there is a Fat Lori coffee mug on Spreadshop. I believe. I'm not really good at all that kind of stuff. The guy from here, that ginger thing. Yeah, I got that ginger thing going on. I get sunburned. And I live in a heck of a place to get to be a ginger. I get sunburned so easy. Can I get details on your truck setup? What's on the bed rack? Okay, I have a dog box where I haul my hounds in, and I seen somebody ask earlier, do you hunt mountain lions? Yes, I do. I got those dogs, and when they hit a lion track, they trail them. This desert's really, really hard to catch a lion in, but I love to trail them. I like to see where they travel. I love to watch dogs work. I love to watch them work a track and everything, so that's what I do. On top of the dog box, I got what they call a rooftop tent. I think it's called a roof nest. So if I end up anywhere, I can pop that thing up real fast, and it's got a mattress in it, and I can sleep in it. My truck is, I don't even know what year it is. It's a Dodge with a Cummins diesel, 4-door, 4-wheel drive. I've never been big on trucks or anything. I just drive whatever starts and goes. And my trailer, I fixed up my trailer. It's a little old WW, I think, stock trailer. I partitioned off the front so I could have a little tack room. I built saddle racks in there, and then I also put a lithium battery in there, and there's a solar panel on top so I can charge, and I've got an inverter in there so I can charge all my dog collars, and I charge everything in there. And so yeah, that's how I fixed it up. So everything's pretty self-contained. The only hat in your store at this time is the trucker's hat. I don't know. I'm not sure what a trucker's hat is. He says that there used to be a drunk crosswalk in town from one place to the other. Yeah, when you went into Uncle Bill's, and you weren't, I mean, they were pretty strict over there. You couldn't get too rowdy, but if you got rowdy there, then you walked across the street to Sam's. And I was friends with Well, with Sam was the father, and then Steve Trujillo was his son, and I was pretty good friends with Steve, because matter of fact, I went out and stayed at Steve's house quite a few times. Have you ever found someone stranded in the desert? No, Sid, but I tell you what I did do one time. I got a story about this. I went up on the mountain up here, and I was in my buggy, and it had snowed. And I went up there because I thought maybe I could find a lion track or something. And I went up there, and there was, I don't know, there was probably about 4 inches of snow on the ground, not very much. And I got up there, and I came over the hill on the road, and there was a truck that had, he was back down the road, and he was stuck. And I could see where he would put rocks to keep from rolling backwards, and where he had been working on his truck to try to get out. And I pulled up to the front of his truck, and he was leaned over in the door of his truck in the window like he was reaching for something. And I hollered at him, and I said, "Hey buddy," I said, "you need some help? I can probably pull you out." And he didn't move. He didn't wiggle. And I said, "Hey, mister," I said, "do you need some help?" And he still didn't move. So I got out of the buggy and walked around, walked up to the front of the truck and looked in the front of the truck. And I knew right then, I mean, the guy had passed. He was dead. And it was kind of spooky. And I guess I drove up to the top of the mountain where I had cell phone service, and I called 911. The cops came up there, and they said that they assumed he had had a heart attack while he was trying to get himself out. He was an older man, and he had passed the night before, and you could sure tell by looking inside that window. It's kind of creepy, really. What else do we got going on? Zero, hello, how are you? I'm doing good now, thank you. You're welcome, Bruce. I enjoy making the videos. I started doing it a long time ago. I started kind of you don't know the story. I kind of started by accident. I lived way up there, or I had a place way up in the mountains, up in the Black Range in New Mexico, and it was completely surrounded by forest. It was a beautiful place. I had 60-something acres up there. It had 2 ponds on it. It had a creek that ran through it, and it had like 7 or 8 springs on it, and it was totally off-grid. And I lived up there for 3 years, and I'd always tell my wife these stories, you know, and she lived in town. She would come up on the weekend, and then I would go back on Monday nights or Mondays and buy supplies, and then drive back up, and I'd stay Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, and Friday night. Sometimes she'd come up on Friday night, or she'd come up on Saturday. But anyway, I'd always tell her these stories about where I'd been and what I'd done and what I'd seen and everything. And she said, "You need to keep a diary." And she bought me these diaries. I think I've probably told everybody this before. Matter of fact, here's one of those diaries right here. 2011, right there. She'd buy me these diaries, and you could see how good I was at writing in them. And I would write in them for about 2 days there. I'd write in them for about 2 days. Oh, this is Mountain House scrambled eggs and bacon. That's what I ate for breakfast. Left at 7:15. Rode jet, I can't even read my own writing. Put the saddle on Jenny with the soft panniers, left the tent up. Anyway, that's what I did. And I'd write in those for about 3 days, but I was too lazy to write. I wouldn't write in them. But then I started carrying a camera. And I would carry a camera, and I would, instead of writing a diary, I'd turn the camera towards me, and I would tell the story of the day about what I did. And then pretty soon I started carrying the camera, and I would film what was going on, and I would tell the story, you know, whatever was happening. And then I was also started watching YouTube videos about that time about how to set up my off-grid camp. So I thought, well, I said I could share this stuff with people because it might be interesting to people to watch, someone riding a mule in the wilderness, I guess, and run these hounds up here. So that's what I started doing. And one thing led to another, and then I started, learning how to edit and trying to make it more better for people to see, more interesting, or not necessarily more interesting, but easier for people to watch, I guess, more cinematic, I guess is what you'd call it. It's just, so anyway, that's the evolution of it. That's how I started. Anything else? Any more questions? Okay. What happened to the live streams? Chuck Miller, we're on them right now. Love the videos you put out, but what is that beeping? That's the same thing. Brett, what animal is that crying? Starting at 5:45, it kind of bothered me hearing it because it was obviously in distress. If it was the lion you were hunting, I was glad to hear it was okay when you let it go. I don't know which video. Don't get me wrong. I'm totally pro hunting. It just bothers me to hear an animal in distress. I don't think humans are meant to be complete vegetarians, and the burden we all carry as a result is that we have to kill to survive. I don't know what was crying in the video. I don't remember anything crying. So what do you do with a $90,000 mule? More to the point, what would you even do with a $9,000 mule? Man, that's that $90,000 mule. I was curious as heck, and so I messaged the people trying to find out about the $90,000 mule. I wanted to know what makes a mule worth $90,000. I was genuinely curious, and they just kind of beat around the bush, and they never would answer me. And I thought, well, and then you're at an auction, and that's what I asked them. I said, well, you can't just bid yourself up to $90,000. There had to be another person that was willing to almost pay $90,000 for that mule to run it up that high. And they got mad at me and blocked me. They didn't want to answer the question. All right. It's all right. On exactly 5007, you did pass by a Carve X. It was legit carved by a person. Check it out. I'll have to go back. Maybe there's a treasure there. Good video. How is the hat? Is it cool enough and not too heavy, but durable? Yeah, the straw hat, those palm leaf hats, they're not really that heavy. Real durable until they get wet. If it rains on them, they weigh like 500 pounds. Super sticker, $20 from Belgrade. Pear character looking at himself in the mirror saying, thanks for being you, with hearts popping out of his eyes. I don't know. Thank you, believer girl. Thank you very much. My wife and I enjoy your adventures. Thank you, and glad your health is getting better. Thank you. I seen girls barrel horse that sold over $2 million the other day. Wow, at least on a barrel horse or a roping horse or a calf horse or reining horse, cutting horses, whatever, you can go out and win a lot of money on them. And you can actually, if I had a roping horse that I sold for $90,000, I can say, well, shoot, I've won $60,000 on this horse, and he's only 6 years old, and he won't run by a steer, and he sits on his hind end, and you can kind of describe why that horse is worth that much money. But for a mule, that's all I was asking. I was wanting them to tell me, why is that mule worth that much? And they wouldn't tell me. Super sticker from Rick Perrick. Thank you, Rick. You can charge $2,000 for 2 nights, a wall tent camp, mule ride into camp, and elk steak for dinner. Get kids to do the work for you. Yeah. All right. Your birthday is November 26th. Yep, that's my birthday. That's my birthday too. Cool. Be 64 years old, November 26th. My wife's birthday is November 12th, and she'll be 63, I believe. I shared you on Facebook. I hope it okay. Yeah, shoot, I don't do a lot on Facebook. We started posting some stuff on Facebook, and we posted some stuff on Instagram. And honestly, between us, I don't really like Facebook. I think with YouTube, I can make a video, and it's not really about me. It's about going someplace. It's about a destination. Like, let's go look at the countryside or find, something interesting to share. And sometimes it seems like Facebook is like, look at me. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I don't always feel comfortable posting on Facebook. I think my camera is doing some crazy stuff here. If I lose you guys, sorry, but it's my camera. Mine is the 25th. Philip Fontaine, happy birthday. Mine is the 25th. 70 revolutions round the sun. Oh, wow. Happy birthday, Philip. That guy from Arizona. Facebook banned me with no explanation. There you go. I lost a Facebook page with no explanation. They banned me. I don't know what I did. Yeah, this is where we got confused with one of those compilation videos. A guy said, I'm confused. Maybe I missed a video, but I thought he was riding Bonnie and Agnes died. And that's true. Agnes did die. She colicked, I guess. I wasn't real sure how she died. I found her out there. I don't know what happened. Have you ever been injured where you weren't able to get back on your mule or even get your mule? If so, do you keep your satellite SOS on you or strapped to your mule? Yep, it's strapped here. I've never been injured where I couldn't get back on. I've never had that problem. I've hurt myself before, but not bad. Why all the compilations lately and no new adventures? Are you okay? I'm better now. No sound. Did you get my last email? Oh, that was that one little video I shared where I was riding Clyde and I took a video between his ears. Is that music from Jesse James movie? No, I pay for music from Epidemic Sound. That way I used to pick out music and try to share it on my videos, but then you get copyright strikes and they'll take down your video or they'll blank out the music or whatever. So I forget what it is. I think it's like $12 or $15 a month or something like that, and that way I can pay for the music on Epidemic Sound, and I can kind of pick out music that fits with what the video is, the mood of the video. Does that make sense? Hi Brett, why are those pools at 308 made in the river? Are they hot springs? Is what he meant to say there. If I was up in the Gila, yeah. If I was in the Middle Fork of the Gila, there's hot springs up there. It's called Jordan Hot Springs. Really cool place. And they got them all dammed up where there's big pools. Really good for your old bones, too. Would a drone be able to fly inside the caves? No. Yeah, the cave's not big enough to get in there with a drone. At 4050, isn't that a drawing just to the left of center? I don't know. Have you made a video covering the weapons you carry when hunting and camping? No, usually I carry I have that Henry 410 I carry, and I carry it holds six rounds, and I'll carry 3 number 6 shot and then 3 slugs in the back of it. I want to get, I don't know, I've had so many comments, people saying I should carry a sidearm. And I've never been one to carry a pistol, and just because I'm not good with a pistol, but I've been looking, I'm going to buy one. And any suggestions you guys have on what I should carry? I think I'd like to get one of those, what's it called, the Judge? I don't know. I think it'd be cool. Then you could shoot 410s out of it, and you could also have the slugs that you shoot out. And I think it'll won't it shoot a 45 too, the Judge? I don't know, maybe. I don't know much about weapons. How are you and your dad doing? Please let us know. Blessings on your family. My dad's doing pretty decent now. We've had a couple scares with him. He won't slow down. He does too much, and he's 92 years old, and he won't sit still. And in the afternoon, and he doesn't eat like he should, and he doesn't drink enough water. And matter of fact, we had to call the ambulance on him not too long ago. And then it wasn't very long ago, my little sister called me and said get over here right now. Said dad's bad. He's wobbling and about to pass out. And he was outside feeding his horses and stuff. And so I had to run over there, and we got him set down and everything, and we got him, kind of straightened out. But what do you do? At 92, him doing what he's doing is probably what has kept him going so long. So the judge is 500. Lynn, do you recommend the judge? You think that'd be a good bad dog? Yes, 45 long colt. So it will shoot a 45 long colt. That would be cool. I'm going to buy one. I'm going to go buy one this week. I have a 1911. It's too heavy. I don't like it. I tried to carry it. I don't like it, Uncle Crab. I carry it in my truck. It's in my truck, and it's handy for me to reach in case I need it in my truck. Yeah, mountain lions can scream like wounded women. Yes, they can. Had one in my front acres one night, 2 a.m. She was just howling. Haha, my buddy had the judge, and we were driving a dirt road. Out pops this coyote, and he tried to get it. Didn't get it. No, I imagine. Rick, 45, cool. Lynn Gatlin, yeah, you need a revolver for riding horses. Yeah, I think so. Judge is huge, but they're not that heavy. I picked one. Maybe when they're loaded, they're heavy. But the one I handled at the gun store down here, it didn't seem that heavy to me. Revolvers are my favorite. Many choices. I would not buy the judge. Man, I'm getting differing opinions here. The judge I picked up wasn't that heavy, Uncle Crab. Maybe when it's loaded it is. William Jody Robert, judge is heavy too. I'll see. I'll try some out. See what I like. I have a judge. Not the easiest to wear on your hip. Too long a cylinder. Oh. Well, should I get, something that was kind of cowboy, kind of fit what I do. Some kind of revolver, something. Uncle Papa Johnny, there he is. Brett, did you see the mountain lion killed in Arkansas by the car? No, I didn't see that. Johnny, I did not see that. Think of the judge like an on-off road motorcycle. Can do both, but not good at either. That sounds about right. Probably with 410 shot in there, probably pretty good at killing rattlesnakes though, and that's what I kill the most of. Black Hawk and 44 mag, Red Hawk if you want double action. No, I want single action. Colt single action. Get a revolver, Brett. You are a cowboy. Yeah, I'm going to get a revolver. I guess. My husband and I stumbled on your YouTube channel a couple weeks ago. We thoroughly enjoyed the videos. One question. What is the name of the mule you currently ride and the name of the pack mule? Thank you. Ride Bonnie, and I pack Clyde now. For years I rode Jet and packed Jenny, and then I went to Agnes and packed Ruth, and now it's Bonnie and Clyde. Single action Army Ruger 44 mag. Sounds pretty cool. I'll save this chat. I think this chat saves with my because all this is being recorded. And I think the chat saves with the recording. So I'll go back through these and I'll look them all up and see what I see. And I'll go down to the gun shop and see what they have and handle them and see what I like. So yeah, thanks for the suggestions, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you, Brett, for sharing your adventures. I always have a coffee ready when watching your videos. I'm also a cigar smoker. Can you share the link of the cigar? Now, I just buy my cigars down here at the cigar shop. I usually only smoke them when I'm out by the campfire. Every now and then when I'm driving the buggy out, I'll smoke a cigar. I did this morning. Speaking of the coffee, I have my own coffee brand, and it's done through Full Cry magazine. But from what I understand, they sold out. I'm not sure if it's back yet. And the people who take care of it, they kind of had a bad go of it. And they take care of I don't know what they do. They take care of I think it's a lodge. And they're kind of off grid. And I don't think they anticipated how much the coffee would sell. And I think it sold quite a bit. And I think they got sold out or they got overwhelmed or something. So I haven't mentioned it on any of my new videos. As soon as I get it straightened out that they're going to be able to get them all shipped correctly and that they got them in stock, then I'll mention it. But and the way the coffee came about, the guy approached me and said that they had a guy who blends this coffee, and he wanted to know if I wanted any of it, and I said sure. So I asked him if I could brand some of it myself, and he said yeah, we could put your brand on it, which is the Born 100 Years Too Late brand. So he sent me all these samples. He sent me a big old box of samples, and I tried it, and I picked out the kind I liked, and sure enough, we put it all together, and I think it sold out. But it might be back in stock, but I'm not going to. On my next video, I'll find out, and then in my next video, I'll either mention it if it's in stock, or I won't say nothing about it. Garland Turner, did your mule buck you into both of the Radium Springs signs on I-25? No. They probably blew down. Garland, I got a question. I heard if your horses get loose in the wild, look for them back the way they came, because they are trying to get back to where they came from. Is that true? Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, they'll probably go back to the trailer. Glock 48, Brett, not heavy and reliable, not the judge, junk. Okay, Joe. But is it a revolver? Glock's not a revolver, though. I think I need a revolver. I got to stay, like, somewhat cowboy stuff. Just looked at your online store, and the Big Sun hat is there. So is the ball cap. Trucker hat. Oh, it's a baseball hat? I didn't even know it was on there. Jeffrey Lucas, 40 caliber Smith & Wesson. Man, I'm going to have a bunch of things to look up here. Down and Out Nashville. The Taurus Judge, I'm pretty sure Taurus comes with a lifetime guarantee on them. Or they used to. Huh. The guy from Arizona. Cimarron Pistolero 357 Magnum. Well, that's what I was told, is to get I was recommended a 357 because you can shoot 38s through it. That's correct. So it's a lot cheaper to shoot like that instead of a 45 or whatever. Can you guys see the camera kind of zooming in and out on its own? I'm using my phone as a camera because my other camera went on the blink. The brink, whatever you call it. Okay, can you metal detect around those old buildings? Yeah, and I got some metal detectors. I just don't use them like I should. Just curious, no telling what might be there. I know you find a lot of them in your journeys. Yeah, I should pack one, just have something to do every now and then. Light and easy to pull. Yeah, correct, light and easy to pull. Yes, perfect. I enjoy the videos. Are you in New Mexico? Yes, I'm in New Mexico. Do you carry a couple extra mule shoes for Bonnie in such rough terrain? No, I don't. I don't carry any mule shoes. I've thought about when we packed across the wilderness and with my buddy, and he had horses, we carried one of those easy boots. They call them one of those rubber boots you can put on. And he did throw a shoe, and we had to put an easy boot, to get his horse through. I don't worry about it so much with the mules because they're pretty tough-footed. You can go quite a ways on a mule barefoot. So, matter of fact, Agnes, I hunted a season on her barefooted. She was tough-footed. She never she never got sore-footed. Desert Dan Blacksmith, yes, 357 birdshot too. Security 6 stainless steel, perfect. When did you switch from horses to mules and why? That's a good question. I think I know I've told the story before. I rode horses all my life. I was raised on a quarter horse ranch. I halter broke colts. I broke colts. I trained horses. I I rode reining horses when I was a kid. My dad's rode cutting horses, and I rode some cutting horses, and I team roped a lot, and I team roped at a high level, and I trained some team roping horses, and I got into hunting with the hounds, and I was hunting on a ranch back up here, and I was riding a real nice little 3-year-old gelding, and really nice, well-bred horse, and I was riding him with a bosal, and I was up there, way up there on the side of the mountain in some big old lava rocks, and the dogs were trailing a lion, and I was up there picking my way through, and the rancher was down below, and he was sitting down there watching me, and the horse was picking his way through the rocks. He was doing a good job. And when I got down there at the bottom, the rancher said, he said, you're riding that real nice gelding up there in those rocks. And I said, yes, sir. I said, he gets around pretty good. He said, he said, for what you do, he said, you need to get a mule. I said, really, a mule? I'd never been around mules in my life. He said, yeah, and he basically said what Jeffrey Lucas said. He said they're stronger and smarter, and they're made for, that's what they're made for. They're just tough like that. And he said, yeah, he said, a mule. And then he pointed his finger at me. He said, get a good one. And then this is a really cool story. I was in business for myself at that time, and there was a company in Albuquerque. And Albuquerque's a town about 300 or 250 miles away from me, and I'd done a bunch of work for them like 4 or 5 years prior. And I say a bunch of work. They owed me almost $60,000 for 3 years. So they owed me a bunch of money, and they were going broke. And I didn't have a dime to my name, and I told my wife, I said, man, I want to buy some mules, and I didn't know where to get any mules or anything. And a friend of mine, David Heiss from over by Roswell, he called me and said, hey, he said a friend of mine's getting a divorce, and his wife ended up with 2 good mules, and she wants to sell them. And he said, if you want them, he said, I can get them for you for a pretty good price. And they wanted $3,000 for them, but at that time in my life, it might as well have been $50,000 because I didn't have $3,000. And my wife and I were driving down the road, and I told her, I said, well, if that money ever comes in that those people owe me from Albuquerque, and now, mind you, they had owed me for like 3 years. I said, I'm going to go buy those mules. We checked the mail that afternoon, and that check was in from Albuquerque. And I left that afternoon, I went and bought those mules. So it was meant to be. That was Jet Johnson and Jenny Johnson. Those were those 2 mules. And Jet was probably the best mule I've ever had. But yeah, I like my mules for what I do. Now, if I was out, working cows or something, I think I'd rather be on a good horse. But up in that rough country, riding those narrow trails, or not even trails, just busting through the rocks, going up the side of the mountain, I like to be on a mule. Hey, what the hell's that? Little nurse. What else do we got? How long have we been on here? Oh, man, we've been on here a long time. Any last questions, guys? Man, I appreciate everybody who came on here. I hope I got to as many questions as I could. Stay tuned. New content coming out. I feel pretty good. I think I'll be able to get out. I want to ride Bonnie and Pat Clyde, and I want to go and go to some different places. I'd like to travel and get further out, find places in other states and further away that'd be interesting. That'd be interesting for me to see and to show you guys. So anyway, watch the videos, comment, let me know if there's something else you'd like to see. Oh man, I get sidetracked here. Speaking about mules, can you use horse with mules, like riding horses and using mules for packing, or vice versa? Or is it better to use horses for riding and horses for packing and mule? No. A lot of people ride a horse and pack a mule. My dad tells a story about an old man who used to ride the mule and pack a horse. So yeah, no, you use them for whatever. I mean, whatever. Brett, we love you over here in Southeast Arizona. Oh, thank you. Thank you for taking us along. Or thanks for coming along. Put butter in your coffee. I drink butter in my coffee every morning. Double duty. Peanuts. You're super cool. Thank you. Huge fan. Oops, I meant prayers. Thank you, George. Ricky Brock. Good night, Ricky. Deciduous discipline. Deciduous discipline. That's different. Thank you for everything, Brett. You're the man. Oh, thank you. I have a Ruger 357. I really like it. Cool. Loves out there. Prayers to you, Brett. Thank you for the prayers. I appreciate that. Stay healthy. I'm going to try. Guys, thank you. More videos to come. Promise you. Onward and upward. That's the watchword. And God bless you guys.